Hello, everyone. This is Tracy Malone from narcissistabusesupport.com. Today, I'm going to be speaking to my estranged parents because I have a topic that I guess asked every single day, and they want to understand how their child doesn't see this. How can they not see the control they're under? How can they not see the manipulation? How can they not see that turning, your child against the family is not okay? So I just want to start by telling you that narcissism's on a spectrum, and you're going to get different behaviors, different things, and you'll see all of that. But how control happens, it doesn't happen like boom, we're married and you're my prisoner. It feels like that, but it doesn't happen that way. It starts off very slowly. It starts off with love and with good intention. And, you know, it's so important to understand that this is all about grooming, right? And let's just look at one thing that let's start with that is sort of the tracking. And so many parents are telling me, oh, they track my child now. And it starts off like this. I want to make sure you're safe. Let me know when you get home. Will you share your location so I don't have to worry about you? Text me when you get home. I'm really worried. I want to make sure you're getting there. And then if your child is 5 minutes late getting home, they will say, I was so worried. I just needed to know that you were okay. And this love bombing of concern becomes the way to start the obedience of being tracked, right? Other things that they do is they are obsessively texting your child and obsessively texting them, especially when they're with you, but for all the different times in their life when they step out of the role of being with that person, whether they're at work, this happens. If they're with their friends, this happens. And you'll start to see patterns in most of them that it's sort of like, why aren't you answering? You always respond when you're with your family. What's going on? You must be with someone else if you're ignoring me. There could be no other explanation, like you're busy with your family or doing something with your friends, but it gets twisted, right? And so they learn and they are groomed. They better pay attention to their phone. And so when people are saying that their kids are always like worrying about that, it's because of that reaction, right? The other thing they say is, I just don't think that your parents are good for you. And it could be your friends too. I don't think your friends are okay. Your mom stresses me out. And, you said that yourself. And, I really don't like the way your dad talks to me. He's mean and he looks at me funny. And then another thing they could say about your friends is, your friends really don't get you the way I do. I see them and they're really not on your side. I know you've thought this all this time, but did you see that one comment? It was a little bit snarky, and I don't like that they treat you like that. I don't think you should stay with your friends anymore. This is because they're positioning themselves as the only safe one. And so it starts to ebb at their confidence in their friends because it's not just one time. It's 1,000 times repeated over and over again. And again, that becomes part of the indoctrination and sort of the brainwashing and almost the surrender of your child who just gives into this because it's easier to give into it than fight it. And they probably did try to fight it at first, complained and said, no, they're great friends, or that's just my parents. My mom's a little sensitive, or she can be this or whatever. And then those get squashed. And so then they stop fighting back, right? Another way is sort of to make themselves the most important person in their life. This is part of the isolation process, and it's how they make their world much smaller, right? They stop attending family events. They always cancel friends' plans until the friends are completely blocked and out of their life. And they become very private about what's happening in their home with this narcissist, right? They hesitate and they don't share things the way they used to because they're afraid that you'll judge their partner. they've already seen you get not so happy about it, but they will fear that you are going to, you know, basically attack. Um, then they will also say things like the controlling partner uses love as a leverage, right? If you really love me, you wouldn't need them. You would just need me. I'm enough. Aren't I enough? These are how they get hooked. It's love bombing. It is tenderness. It is kindness. It is somebody putting their needs first, even though it's warped and twisted. Your child is falling for it, right? The big one that everybody gets is, I'm your family now. We don't need anyone else, right? You and me, our family now. They never truly understood you, just like your friends. Your family doesn't understand you. I understand you. I see these vulnerable things and the horrible things that they did that kept you trapped in this life that you didn't want. Again, building and building, right? It's loyalty, and loyalty is isolation. You have to commit to me or you're, in trouble, right? The other thing that narcissists do when they are trying to coerce your child into loving them and staying with them and listening to their stupid rules is saying things like, I'm just trying to be honest. This is a big, giant gaslighting thing, but it's sort of like giving them cred because now, well, they're just being honest. But I'm just saying that because I care. And I'm not going to lie to you the way your family does. You need to hear the truth. Those sort of things start to ebb at your child's confidence and ebb at the security that they felt with their family. Um, they might even twist it and say, your family only tells you what you want to hear, but I tell you the truth. This is emotional gaslighting, and it encourages your child to doubt their own reality. That's the whole point of gaslighting, right? The other part is sort of this classic. It's a classic move. I mean, they do it, they threaten, I can't be without you. You complete me. I can't sleep when you're not here. If you ever leave me, I'd fall apart. Right? While it sounds kind of sweet and kind, it is an emotional trap, and it creates emotional dependence in your child, and it makes your child trapped in the caregiver role, rescuer, and emotional hostage to them and their poor little I can't live without you kind of things, right? That's one of the other things. I have another few to explain to you. How about your friends never liked me? Did you see the way that they acted at the thing? They didn't even come and talk to me, and I was alone most of the night, and I don't think anyone who really cared about you would do that to someone that you loved. Why won't they, like, let me play reindeer games with them? It also works when your mother hates me. Your mother hates me. Again, picking, she did this, she didn't hug me, she hugged me too hard, she, looked the other way, she blinked. It doesn't matter. There's going to be an offense and this sensitivity that everything is being done to them. Remember, narcissists are always victims. They have to be victims. And so this is such a red flag that our kids don't even see. But when they are, you know, being told that they're the victim of someone, our children are probably good rescuers, good, kind, loving souls that when someone is, being like this, they step in to rescue them, to protect them from their friends who ignored them at the wedding, or from the person who said this, or, these things are twisted. 90% of the time, nothing like this happened, but it still escalates the situation. And, then they test them with a test of loyalty. If you can't even stand up to me, maybe I'm not safe in this relationship. Now, that's a scary one for your kids to hear because they're saying to them directly, I'm not safe and you're not protecting me. So step up and fix this, right? They also say things like, I'm not going to be around people who judge me. Nobody's judging them. They are manufacturing a judgment. They're manufacturing chaos so that they can be the victim. And our kids do not see this. Um, their insecurity will have them saying things like, I'm so tired of being the outsider. If you really loved me, you'd have my back. You'd take care of me. And now your kid is forced into like this loyalty pledge, and our kids don't see it because this doesn't look like abuse. Nobody's yelling at them. They get the love and the constant attention because they're texting them all the time. Isn't that love? No, it's control. It's a slow erosion of their autonomy and feeling like they have a right to speak up, to set a boundary, to not like what someone's doing or saying, but they lose all that. They have no power to say, this isn't normal, this isn't right. And if you loved me, you have to do this, right? So they're under pressure. And a lot of times it's usually, if you loved me, you won't see your parents anymore. They're so horrible. They've done all these horrible things, please do it for me because our relationship is forever. And you have to take care of me because they're so mean, right? It is exhausting to watch, to see this happening with your children. My clients are outraged by seeing this and then saying, how can my Ivy League child or my child who's really smart not see this? Because they see the love, right? You have to not blame them for not seeing this. I was a narcissistic abuse victim. I didn't see it for 10 years. I believed the love lies and ignored the crazy stuff that I was being controlled or isolated or any of the other things in my life. I moved across the country because he loved me so much and this was the job he wanted. I gave up my friends. I gave up my family. I have been in their shoes because of love. I did what I thought I was supposed to do as a good, dutiful wife to do the things that he wanted to do. And that's where your kids are. So try not to blame them for not seeing it. Understand they are being coercively controlled. Narcissistic abuse is around them all the time. They're living in fear. They're being gaslit. And these dynamics are not something that they're probably familiar with. And when you mix it with the blend of love and, we're the most important things, right? This is how it gets hooked. You ignore the bad because the good is really good sometimes, not all the time. It gets icky in the middle, but it's if they call them out on something, then the love bombing starts back to them. But I was only doing it because I love you so much, and so all that stuff. So what do the parents do? Please educate yourself. Understand what gaslighting means. Understand what coercive control means, and understand, you know, how to stop taking this narcissistic abuse. Not that you're going to be able to advise them, but so that you have an understanding of what they're going through. And you're not maybe as angry because they should know better, right? All of these things come out of every parent's mouth. That's not how we raised you. But the truth is, you raised them to be kind and loving people. And that's what the narcissistic is exploiting, right? Love never demands obedience or isolation. It expands a person's life. Control shrinks it. Their world is going to get really small with no friends, no family, not allowed to go to work events. Your child might not see it yet, but you can. And that clarity is power. I have a new book. I have two new books coming out, Estranged Parents. You probably have seen me talk about this one. This is my big book. It's a big 300-page book called Estranged by Lies: How Narcissistic Partners Use Power and Control to Destroy Your Family. Yeeks! It's possibly your life. It's going to give you a lot of tools. It's not out yet. You can see, not for resale, my author copy. I'm waiting for some fixes of the footer and things like that. And I'll have it out soon. But another thing that I created that was actually supposed to be part of this book, and then it's didn't make the cutting room floor, if you would, before it was laid out and all the deadlines and all that stuff, It is a handout that I give to my estranged parents when I have them in a group. But I went ahead and I took what I give to the estranged parents and I added to it to include other situations because in an estranged situation, you know, your child might be saying, my spouse won't let me see my sister, or they get mad at me when I talk to my mom, and they don't let me see my friends. They might say those little weird things to a friend or a sibling, and how we answer it is so important. And again, this goes for their friends, this goes to the relatives. Anybody that is witnessing someone who is being abused needs to understand how to do it the right way. And so often we jump into oh God, that's a narcissist. You're being gaslit. Do you see how they're controlling you? And you kind of cover them with this layer of education that they are not ready for. And you know what happens? They go right back to their spouse and tell them that you just called them a narcissist. And there goes your relationship. It's a permanent, like, you're going to be in more trouble, right? So, and also friends and siblings get cut off when they start to raise awareness to these things. So, how do we do it? Do we just let them suffer in silence? No. We get Tracy's new book. The cover is gonna look like this, although we're changing the font and it's just a piece of paper now, but it is, they don't see it, but you do. How to gently plant a seed naming abuse. And I've got all of these little scenarios. So they say this, here's a bunch of different ways that you can tap into letting them start to see it. You plant the seed with compassion and saying things like, that must be so hard. You were so close to your family. How are you handling that? So that they start to see you're not attacking their spouse, you're not attacking their partner, you are clearly just guiding them along. So this is going to help a lot of families when it comes out. They're going to launch at the same time. I'm working really hard to get all these pieces together. So please stay tuned, and I will be holding up the book without the stripe that says not for resale soon, so that you guys can go out and get this on Amazon. I'll have it on Audible and on Kindle as well. And this is Tracy Malone. If you have not visited my website, you are missing out on so much education about this situation with estranged in-laws. I have blogs. I have hundreds of blogs. I have a page that tells you I coach people. I have support groups that are not just bitchy support groups, educational support groups. How do we handle it when our kid does this? What do we do? They want us to go to therapy. What are we going to do? Their wife won't let us do this. Their husband won't let us do that. We can't see the kids. What do we do here? What do we do here? I give you those answers. It's just sort of group coaching with education all mixed into one. So get into one of my groups. If you're having trouble, reach out to me and sign up for a session, and we'll go through what you've done and maybe how to correct it and get back on track, seeing your kid or not making as many mistakes as you did. So this is Tracy Malone. I know this was a long one. I hope you stayed to the end. Please like and share this video. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.